Welcome to Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your tennis. Today, I'm going to be talking about Solinco polyester strings. These are probably one of the most popular strings in the last 5 years. These guys did a wonderful job of marketing, of getting it into the hands of up and coming, rising teenage stars, to the college level, and then into the adults. So they have done a masterful marketing job. I didn't carry these strings until the kids start coming in asking for it. Nobody in history, no string company in history has ever been so successful selling to the grassroots, the children, the up and coming kids, going out to tournaments and promoting themselves. It has been a masterful job by them. Now, it all started with this string right here, the Solenko Tour Bite. This is their version of Luxilon ALU, except that this is shaped. So there are sides to this. They're not as defined as like a Dunlop Black Widow, but there are edges on this. So that's why the name Tour Bite. So it bites the ball. It bites, right? That's how we produce spin. It's also a little softer than ALU, in my opinion, but it all started right here, right? Since then, they've come out with like a Tour Bite Soft, which is a softer version of this if you don't want the harder harshness of a standard mono, so they softened it up a bit. There's also a Diamond Rough, which is, man, that thing is really, really rough if you've ever handled it or played with it. Because it's so rough, it actually slides very well. So if you want more spin, that one is definitely the one to get because it's moving off the bat. So Diamond Rough Solinco Tour Bite, if you want to try that. I've tried it and I love it, but I just love this other one more, right? So the other thing that these guys do is they make a 16 gauge, right? They make a 16 gauge all the way up to a 20 gauge. Now that's unheard of. A 20 gauge is essentially almost badminton string. So you can get thin string from these guys. They make it. They even make the soft that I sell, maybe 6 reels a year to in 19 gauge. Wow, that's crazy, right? I mean, 19 gauge I would break, I don't know, in an hour. But these guys make it. So they, try to cover the field in terms of your needs. So Tour Bite is the firmest of all their poly strings. Like I said, these are like their Luxilon ALU Power, which is probably the firmest string in the Luxilon line too. So this is where it all started, okay? Now, my favorite string is coming up, so I'm very excited about this. This was in the confidential experimental phase for, I want to say 3 years. I mean, I was lucky enough to get to use it for the last 2 years, but this stuff was floating around for 3 years. I mean, I wasn't able to really market it too much. I was able to use it, maybe sell it to people that I knew. They were allowing me to, sell reels maybe to people that really had to have it, but it was essentially unknown unless you were an insider or a special dealer. The guys are super cool and they're nice to me, so they were allowing me to get it. During those 2 years that I was using it, I was selling about 30 reels a year to various people who loved it like me. And it's called, they kept the name too. They kept the name Solenko Confidential is the name. I mean, in the labels that I do for people, I shorten the name. So if you ever see my label, I named it Solex, S-O-L-E-X, because there wasn't a name for it. So I put Sol, as in Solinco, X for experimental. So my name for it was Solex. They finally came out with it earlier this year and called it Solenko Confidential. Right, so they kept the name because people for the last 3 years have been calling it that. So, but if you see my label, it says Solex, and that's this string. Now, why is this my favorite? So it's not as firm as Torbite. It's just right, I want to say. There's no kind of harshness or firmness in my arm. I always use the term predictable. I know where this string is coming from. I know it will maintain tension. I know that when it starts to lose tension, that where it's going to be. So I like this racket in various stages. Sorry? String, not racket. Did I say racket again? Oh, yeah. So I like this string in various stages in my racket. I string my rackets in various tensions. So I have one at, as you saw with my bag check, at 55 now, 50, and 45. So I know that the 55 is going to hold tension pretty well for X amount of days. I know that my 50 is going to hold tension for X amount of days. And if I have to go to the 45, my red alert racket, then I know that I'm going to get power from that one, right? And that's the power I need. But if you've, I mean, I've been suggesting this to you guys for 2 months now, and I hope you guys have tried it. I heard from some of the comments that some of you aren't able to get the string depending on where you live. I mean, check like the Tennis Warehouse Europe. I know the Tennis Warehouse in America has it. If you have access to those, you know, get it from them. I know they have it pretty much for sure. But try this string. You will like it. You will like it. Now, third up is their softest string. I know a lot of you love this. When it wasn't in my top 5, a lot of you got mad at me. All right, I get it. I get it. It's just too soft for me. I know it's lively and it's springy and it does everything that you guys want. You know, basically makes the ball jump off the court. I get it. I get it. It's just not, it doesn't work for me. It's not as predictable as Confidential. Doesn't mean I don't love it. It's just not my type of string. So this is the softest of the line. It's the most lively of the line. As soon as you put it into your racket, at your tension, you will feel the difference. It is lively. It does make the ball jump. I know that a ton of you people, you know, love this string, and I 100% get it. It's just, like I said, it's just not my type of string. You guys, you know, talk about why you love this string. And I know this from seeing your comments that you guys are a big proponent of it. But this is their softest. It's also shaped. All these are shaped strings. So they're not round and smooth. There are slight edges to these strings. Also the flashiest of all the Solenko strings. This is a cool color. See that green? All right. I believe you can get this in a 20 gauge too. So 16 to 20 gauge, soft, right? Good string. Keep using it if you love it. Don't let me talk you off the ledge, because I know Solinco, I know the guys, and they do great strings. Solinco polyester strings. If you haven't tried them, please go out and try one. I mean, they didn't pay me to do this. You guys have wanted me to do a Solinco review for, I want to say, a month or so now. I see in the comments that you wanted me to review these strings, but that is what these strings are about. Soft and spin, right? If you want lively, that's your string right there. Kind of neutral, tension maintenance, and predictable right there. Confidential, my string, tennis spin string. Standard poly, if you like it on the firm side, like an ALU Power, that's your string. Variations of it, softer. So this would be like if ALU made a soft, this would be it. And I believe they do make a soft. So yes, this would be Luxilon ALU Soft. And then there's a diamond rough, which is kind of unlike anything out there that I've seen. So if you want a massive amount of spin, try that diamond rough. Thank you for watching Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your tennis.